How can you build a habit that lasts? We've all been in that situation where we have the best intentions of starting a new healthy habit, maybe waking up early in the morning, or maybe shutting down our electronics at a more reasonable hour, or maybe making exercise a priority and hitting the gym after work. But a lot of times, after a week or two, or maybe three, everything starts to slip through your fingers, something happens, and you just don't seem to be making it work. We've all heard things like you can make a habit in 21 days, in 30 days, 90 days. There's different research saying that different time landmarks are where it's at for building a habit. So today I have 3 tips so that you can start, stick to, maintain a habit, even if you fall off the wagon. Okay. So, my first tip is that you need to decide why this is important to you, why this is meaningful to you. And if you know me, I really enjoy pen and paper. I think pen and paper is the best way to solidify your goals. So if you have a goal that you're going to start waking up an hour earlier and head out the door and get a workout in, I would write down why you think that is an important goal for you to maintain. Why is it that time of day the best for you? Why do you need to start exercising? What are you hoping to get out of it? So you need to write out what your plan is and why it's important. Because if it's not important to you, then you probably won't really follow through with it when you don't feel like doing something that you have committed to. So you want to make sure that you have, I recommend in writing, what you specifically are going to be doing and why this is an important thing for you. Maybe you have health issues in your family and you really want to make sure that you are circumnavigating that and you're not ending up in that same boat. Maybe you just feel like you've been getting sick a lot recently. You know that sleep is the best thing to do for that, getting better sleep. And so maybe shutting down your electronics by 8 o'clock at night allows you an hour of sort of no screen time and would give you a better chance of getting some better sleep. Decide why it's important and even just brainstorming why it's important. Sometimes putting pen to paper can help you come up with ideas that you didn't even really think about. But maybe getting up in the morning to exercise is going to help you sleep better at night, right? Maybe you're like, oh, geez, if I went to bed earlier, I'd wake up earlier and then I'd be able to get my exercise in and I'd probably feel a lot better. So take some time, and I recommend writing down why you think this is important. My second tip, number 2, is really be specific about what the habit is. So if you're saying, I'm going to wake up every morning to exercise or be productive a little bit earlier, an hour earlier, are you going to do that on the weekend? Are you going to do that when you're on vacation? So if you have some foresight, it's helpful for you to sit down again and say, oh, I'm going on vacation in a month. So what are my guidelines around that? Am I really going to give up sugar when I'm on vacation? Or am I going to have another kind of a little bit looser, but still a little more tighter than vacation? Maybe you say, I'm not going to eat any sugar for X amount of days, a month or more. And maybe you like to put honey in your tea. So does that count? Does honey count as sugar? You know, there are those kinds of little loopholes that you want to think ahead about, because if you go on vacation while you're doing something like, for 90 days, I'm creating this habit, and on vacation, you don't stick to those rules, when you get back, it's going to be a lot harder for you to maintain those rules because you feel like you've fallen off the wagon. But if you had already thought ahead and said, you know what, I know I've given up X, Y, or Z while over the 90 days, but I'm going on vacation. So maybe I'll be a little more lenient. Like maybe during vacation, I won't wake up all that much earlier. Maybe I'll set my alarm for 9 a.m. or something. Don't be too tight on vacation, but I do think it helps if you have guidelines. Are you going to exercise every day for an hour, even though you're on vacation? Or are you going to say, I'm going to count my steps. I'm going to make sure I'm really active. And if I exercise, it's a bonus. And then you have in your head a guideline and you still feel like you're on the plan. I've been a personal trainer for 25 years and I can't tell you how many people don't do this. And it's something like going on vacation or their kid gets sick and their schedule gets all wacky. And then when everything settles down, they feel like they've really lost a lot of ground and it's really disheartening. And then they don't keep going. And that's a bummer because if there were any kind of loopholes or guidelines for these situations that you could stick to, then it would actually be really helpful. If your kid gets sick, can you find a place and you have to stay home with them, or it's like the flu and everything? Could you do a 10-minute floor workout, body weight workout every day? Probably. Maybe you're not getting your 45-minute run in, but you're doing 10 minutes and you get a check mark for that. And you feel like you're still on the wagon and you're still trotting forward and not all is lost. So I think that's really helpful to consider if you're thinking about doing something like sticking to a habit for an extended period of time. So my third tip for you and creating habits is stick something new, this new habit, with something that you enjoy. So if you enjoy a certain podcast or you like to watch a certain TV show, what I do sometimes is I will say that's my favorite new series has come out, but I'm saving it for the treadmill because winter's coming. I live in New England and I get a lot more treadmill time in. If I know I'm going to have a really great show, there was a cliffhanger and I really want to watch it, I will make time to go spend 45 minutes and do some intervals on the treadmill while I'm watching a show I really like. So stick two things together that one is the new habit and the other one is something that you already really enjoy doing, and it's going to make it a lot better for you. It's going to be a lot easier for you and you'll find that you'll stick with it. It's like making a pair. It's like when you get in your car and you don't have your seatbelt on, you feel funny, right? You want it to be like that. Like you wouldn't feel right if you're watching the show while you're lounging on the sofa. Because you're thinking, oh, I'm supposed to be exercising when I watch the show. And so hopefully that would help you to create that pair. Those are my 3 tips, just a few simple tips. And hopefully they help you in starting and following through with a new habit. So it's decide why it's important to you. Why is it important that you wake up early to exercise? Why is it important that you give up sugar for a chunk of time? That kind of thing. 2, be specific about what the habit is and think through any loopholes, any scheduling things that you have coming up, maybe a business trip or something where you're going to be thrown off. And what are you going to do during that time that will still make you feel like you are going forward and the wheels haven't come off the bus? And 3rd is stick it with this new habit with something that you'll already enjoy doing. Or you can do one thing after the other thing, right? After you do this new habit, you get to do this other thing, something along those lines. You get to watch your favorite show, but you got to be on the treadmill, something along those lines. And I think that will help you. Those 3 tips, I hope that you find them helpful and that it helps you make this new habit as long as possible. Because even though they'll tell you how long it takes a habit to last, I have known people to exercise really strongly for a year or more, and something happens. There's a serious illness in their family, and a parent gets very sick, and everything falls apart, and there's all gets the stress and everything, and it becomes very hard to maintain any kind of healthy routine, and it's devastating. So you always have to have your guard up, so to speak, with this. You really do. I've had 2 kids. I've had a parent pass away. I've been through some pretty big life events, and there's always the possibility that you're going to just throw your hands up and say, you know what, I'm done. I can't. Something has to give. And you just want to be on guard for that. And any kind of tips or tricks can be really helpful. So that's it. My name is June Melia. I'm a certified personal trainer for 25 years, and I love helping people find consistency in exercise. And I hope you found this really helpful. If you did, you could like and subscribe down below, and I hope to see you again in the next video. See you later. Bye.